Hey there, this is Sandy, and I'm back at my Solaris 3, working and getting as much experience as I can with this machine, learning as much as I can. On the screen it shows Solaris 2, but it was upgraded to a 3. So it's the same as a Vision. It has all the same features. And so tonight I am working on some edge-to-edge quilting. I had done some edge-to-edge quilting on a real quilt a while back, and so there's some videos out there about that. And but tonight I'm trying to use the edge-to-edge feature to quilt on fabric that I will be using tomorrow to make a bag at my local sewing store, Sewing Source of Lake Villa, Illinois. And so I have this piece that I had cut that's 18 by 21. On the one side, there's the lining, and on this side, this is the actual fabric, the main fabric. And so what I was supposed to do is take the lining, right sides facing out, then the foam that goes in between, and then the main fabric on top, and quilt across the whole thing. Well, I already cut the fabric, and normally when you do edge-to-edge quilting, you have to leave a pretty large border so that you can get it into the frame, the embroidery frame. And so what I thought I could try doing is I took my water-soluble stabilizer, 2 pieces of it, and cut it and sewed it together with a zigzag. And the zigzag thread is actually even water-soluble thread too, that I also got at my local sewing store. So hopefully when I'm done with this, I'll be able to just rinse out everything, and it should be ready by the morning. So when I rinse this out, all the stabilizer in the back will disappear. So I also did a basting stitch around here to just hold it down, the edges down, so I wouldn't have to tape it or anything. So hopefully this goes well. And I thought I actually have the program, the embroidery, edge-to-edge embroidery already programmed, but I thought I would show you how I did it really quick, and then I'll jump back to my program because I had it all lined up and everything in the hoop. So I would go to embroidery, and then I would click on this Q button down here for quilting, and then go to number 4. And then I picked, what did I pick? I picked this this design because I thought it would go well with the design that's on the front. It's a busy design, but I just wanted to try it to see how it looks because I didn't use this one yet. So I'll just press set, and then it takes you to the screen. See if I can get you in any closer. Oh, that's close. Okay. So at the top here, I have to put in the width, which is 18. So I'm just going to type that in and press set. Then I'm going to type in the length, which is 21, and press set. It's filling it in. 18 and 21 is here. Then I have to put in the frame, which this is a 9.5 by 9.5. Let me just double check that. Yes, it is. So set, select. So once I select that, then it takes me to the next screen, which asks me, do I want to flip things? And so I think, you can mess around with it and see what you like. It shows you what it looks like as you flip things. So I think what I did was that one. So that's flipping it, like this is the regular way, this is flipped, this is the regular way, this is flipped, and then I pressed OK. So now I've done everything on the screen, and so I will click next, and it shows there's going to be 12 pieces. Lengthwise it's 21, widthwise it's 18, and I would put that into memory. So it says the data was saved, do you want to embroider? And I say OK. So there's my second one. But I'm actually going to go back to this first one because I had it lined up. So I'm selecting the one. I go back into this first one that shows 12 because these are the ones that are hooped individually, and I don't want to do that. I just want to do number 12 and follow the guided process. So I'm going to press set. And now it should start guiding me through the process. Begin sewing from the upper left-hand corner of the fabric, which I've already done. So when I hoop my fabric, I have this water soluble in the left side of the embroidery frame. And this is about where I knew, just from doing this once before, I knew I had to have it quite a bit inside from on the side and the top. So I don't know if you can see that, but that's what I did. It's already in the hoop. And I'll press OK. And now it's just telling me here, use the move pattern keys to align the upper left corner of the pattern area with the upper left corner marking of the area to be embroidered. So it's just telling me these instructions, like use the pattern keys to do that. So I say OK. And then it moves me to the first position. And now you see the light. The light is very helpful because it's helping me to line up the left side of the pattern. There's a red line. See, there's a red line right here, but it's way over to the left, to the right. So I would need to move that over. And I'm actually back to this screen. I guess I have to back up again, sorry. This screen has these buttons, and that's when I'm moving to move it left. And if I wanted to move it right or up or down, I would be using these buttons to physically move the hoop, the fabric that's in the hoop, over to the left or the right. Okay, and then down here, once I get it to the position, these are the buttons that I will use to check to make sure I've got things lined up. So when I do that, look, it's not moving the pattern, it's moving the embroidery hoop so that I can check the boundaries of where it's going to stitch out and make sure that I like it. And from there, it will take me to another screen, but we'll do this one first because this is just like, where do you want to stitch? Where do you want me to start? So that's what I'm going to do. Say I see a red line here. So I know I was stitching this. I'm kind of in a hurry because we had a party today and I left this to the last minute. So I wanted to go down here, even though this is, I was sewing like, not very straight, but it's okay. And then if I go up, I'm moving this top part too. I can move the top part up and I can see the red line. You probably can't see it, but I do want it to see, this is where it's going to stitch the design, which is really nice that you can see that. And I'm going to move over a little bit and I'm just going to check to see how straight is this. If I would have sewn my basting stitch a little straighter, I might have, had an easier time of lining this up, but it's pretty good. So here's the red line down the side here. We'll go down this side. I can't really tell anything here because I actually center the left side and then the top. Here's the green check, so it's pretty good there. And I'm just trying to make sure it's not angling anywhere, like angling in the wrong way. So this looks good to me. And then this probably could go up a little bit more. Since I did baste it, it's not going to go outside of this region. I think it's going to embroider pretty well. And I also slowed down the speed. Okay, then the green check is there. I'm just checking this one more time to make sure I like the angle. I know I haven't gotten to the angle screen yet. So it's shining from here down. So it does look like it is angling out a little bit. I might have to fix that, but I'm going to say okay on this screen because I like that. Now it's telling me here, use the rotate keys to adjust the angle of the pattern while keeping an eye on the points around the pattern. So I'm like, okay, I'm going to use the angle keys to get this angled correctly. And this brings me to the angle screen. I have to be real careful with my phone that I don't drop it or make it fall out. So these are the angles. I never use these 10% keys, but you can go, angle it up or down. 1% is even a lot. Sometimes I use the 1% if it's a lot off, but I mostly use the 1%. And I'll just use, if it looks like it's angling, if it's angling up, and I want it to adjust it to go down, I'll use this one, 0.1, and then the reverse for this one. This one is actually used later when you want to. Sometimes you have to stretch the pattern when you're going across the whole thing. Sometimes you might get to the side and you might say, okay, I'm rehooping this thing and there's a little bit more fabric that I have to stretch this pattern out to. So sometimes these keys are helpful when you have to either shrink it because it might be too much, or elongate it because you need to stretch it out. Here's one where if you need to shorten it or lengthen it. So like if you're at the bottom, you might have to do that. If it needs to go a little longer, you might want to lengthen it. Shorter, if it's too long, you might want to shorten it. But you don't really know that until you get there. It's based on my experience, and I've only done this. This is my second time, so I had to do quite a bit of, I think I did 20 hoopings in the last one. So we'll see how this goes, but that's the keys I'm going to use. I'm not going to keep coming back here again. Here's the buttons that I would push when I want the frame itself to rotate, so that I can check the markings and make sure I like how everything is positioned before it starts sewing. So I'm going to press, I'm going to just leave this camera here. And now I'm going to check the angles. So this is where I'm doing those buttons at the bottom. And I'm doing a check across the top. Does it look like it is straight? And that looks pretty straight to me. So then I think I'm going to do from top to bottom. And it looks like it's straight. Look at, yeah, it's straight, but my stitching isn't because I was rushing once again. So I think I'm okay with the angle. I thought it was off, but it looks okay to me. The thing is, the next time it stitches out, we have the opportunity to adjust the angle again if we need to. So I'm just going to say okay. Now I have my thread in there. I think this is 90 weight. It is Deco Bob, and I used this on my last quilt. I have it in the top and the bottom because I'm doing this embroidery. It's going to be used on the top and the bottom. So the back side is the lining of the purse. And I'm looking for my, here it is. The top is the main fabric. The back side is the lining. So both sides I want to look nice. So I've got good thread in the top and the bottom. I don't have regular white embroidery thread in the bottom. So let's see how this goes. I slowed down the stitch to like 350. It looks like it's going to start in the middle and go from there. And it looks like each frame takes 3 minutes. Oh no, it didn't start in the middle. It moved over. Okay. So I just keep an eye on this. It should be okay because everything, when I did all my checks, everything was on the screen. You know, it wasn't going off the edge there. And I don't think I have to use this little purple thing to hold down and make sure everything looks good, but I'm just doing it just to be safe. Yeah, it's doing fine. And it's really interesting to me. You know, that last quilt that I did, it was like pretty wide, like 42 by 54 or something like that. So I had 20 rehoopings, and I was using a frame that I think was, oh, I don't know, 16 by 20. And so, you know, this area just seems so small that it is quilting out right now. And if this goes good this time, then I'll just, I think I'll just put it on a higher speed next time. See, like there's a little wrinkle there of fabric. Hopefully the back side looks good. You know, I didn't have problems using this embroidery thread last time, the Deco Bob. So I think it should be okay. We're at 2 minutes, and it shows we only need to do 3 minutes of stitching, so it's almost done. And then I'll have to follow the directions and take it out of the hoop and move it across. Now, hopefully I can do like the whole top row. That would be helpful. But it's probably got 3 rows of hooping using this small hoop. I think it's going to be okay, so I'm going to up the speed a little bit. See how this goes. I like to go slow at first because I'm checking like how the embroidery is looking on the edge to edge. Now this is the end stitch. It's marking the position. Oh no, let's see, there's a little more. Oh no, this is the end mark. So it's making marks for the next row, the marks that I'll use to line up. And that other mark that it did before this one is where I will I'll use that mark to line up the next hoop. You'll see. So over here it's asking me, embroidery is finished. Okay to continue the next pattern, and I'll say okay. Now it says please wait, and it's going to tell me to rehoop the fabric to the right while including the right edge of the pattern on the left in the hoop. It might sound confusing, but it's just saying, you know, move that fabric over. Actually, we're moving the whole piece of fabric to the left so that we can line it up to that mark. So I'm going to do that. And it's just actually, if I go back, this is just a guidance screen. So I'm going to press OK. Now it's telling me, again, move the pattern keys to align the start point with the end point of the previous position. But I still have to move this fabric over. So I'm trying to like just remember how I had it in there so I don't get it too twisted. And you know, since I haven't rehooped this yet, I think I just need to move it over about that much. So I'm trying to keep that top part in the frame and move it over just enough. And since this is my first time, I might be there already, but we'll see. It's going to move over to where I should be. So I think I should be over a little bit more. There. So that gives you a little guidance. I guess I should have pressed that button and then it moves you over there. So, okay. So I've got... Trying to see. Okay, I see it. I just need to move it down a little bit and make sure it's not too far off. Make sure that this embroidery hoop is right over, because you don't want it to, you don't want your needle to hit the edges of the, so I do like a squeeze on the edges here. And now let's see how lined up I am. Okay, I am pretty good, and I'm using those buttons on the right to move. You know, remember the ones I showed you on the top? I think this is the mark right here. I actually could go over a little more. I was looking at the wrong mark. It's right there. And oh, sorry, I bumped it. Okay. And then you can kind of check. It's really not that far off, so we did pretty good. So this is where it will start, and then if I want, I can double check to make sure, since I'm a little bit, make sure that it's still stitching around the same. Yeah, it's pretty good. And then that's interesting. It seemed like it moved. I'm going back up to that mark where it left off right here. Okay. Let's just make sure it doesn't move again. And oh, I guess, I remember now. I'm just mainly going to that mark here. So I think that's what happened, is I moved it up and then I thought I was, okay, so we're right there. We're right on top of it. I press OK. It looks like things won't sew over. So then I press OK. And now it tells me use the rotate keys to adjust the angle of the pattern while keeping an eye on the points around the pattern. So I'm going to say OK. And now we're back at this screen where we've got the angles. So that's what we're doing again. So I am doing a check to make sure that across the top, the angle looks okay. I think it's close enough to me. It looks like it might be, I don't like that, how that looks. Why did it jump down again? Okay. I think that's probably close enough. And it looks like the angle is good. Okay. I think we're good. Make sure everything looks okay. And then I think I'm just going to go here. Okay. Yeah, it lined right up. Wonderful. So now it's going to stitch out this pattern. I haven't been lucky. I thought it was off, but it was good. So this is the second hooping, and we're on 21 minutes. So this only takes 2 minutes to stitch out. And since it is a small frame of fabric, each frame rehooping doesn't take that long, and you get better at rehooping as you go. So while it took me a while to remember how I did it, each time I do this, it will go faster. I could actually speed up the sewing a little bit more too, but right now I'm going to leave it. I could tell you that in order to put the sandwich together, I used 505 fabric adhesive spray, and then at the edges I used this powdered glue, so that I probably didn't need to do that now since I decided to baste on the edges, but I did it because I didn't know I was going to do that. Oh, that was close. So it's still okay though. Everything is good. It looks like we probably have, I can't remember how many hoopings it said, maybe 12. So there's 2 more hoopings for this row, and then there's probably 2 more rows of hoopings. Okay, so that's the end point, and that's where we mark, gonna match up the row. When we move everything down, it's making the mark. Now it's asking me again, do I want to keep embroidering the next pattern? Because when you do this edge to edge, it's a guided process. And so I'm going to say, okay. So then it takes me to that same screen and tells me how I should rehoop the fabric to the white while including the right edge. I say okay, and then I say okay to move the pattern keys, and then it moves me to about the area where it thinks I should be rehooped. So I'm going to, there is a way to do this where you hoop it over the top. But I'm trying to line up to where it ended up, where it left off, which is right there. So I'm trying to get this hooping to go about right there or in the vicinity, because you can move things once you get it hooped. So let me see how that looks. Looks like we're a little bit low, but I think I can move it up. There, I think we're good. And then now I'm just going to use the move keys because I'm trying to get to this mark here. And then a little bit over, a little bit up. Okay, so I did that. Here's where we left off, just kind of making sure I'm not going to restitch over. And I'm going to press OK. Now it's telling me use the rotate keys to check the angle, so I'll say OK. And now I'm going to go across the top here. And that part looks okay. Does it look straight when it's coming down? It might be angling in a little bit. No, I don't think so now that I looked at this again. Then I go across the top. Does it look like it's angling up? How could I be so lucky? I think I'm good. So I'm going to press OK. And then I'm going to do, see how close we are. We're right on. Boy, am I lucky this time. I think I increased it to 500. I'm just going to leave it there. We only have this. It's only going to be 2 minutes. And we're at 26 minutes of filming. Normally I would tape this down up here, but when I did the check, it wasn't sewing over that edge. Coming very close, but not sewing over. So what's cool is there is a way, if you, like if it didn't finish this, I didn't finish my last sentence. I was going to say what's cool is both sides will be embroidered. I can kind of show you on the next, when we stop, what the back side looks like. And then if I was doing like a real quilt and I had to stop, or if I didn't want to do this all in one night and I wanted to stop, you don't have to like leave your machine on to keep this guided process going, because we have 12 rehoopings and we've done 3 so far. Still got a lot more to go. If I had to shut it down, you can go back into the embroidery. You can like exit where you're at. Just remember which frame you're on. That's the key. If I wanted to stop here, I would be starting at frame 5 after I'm done with this row. So I can go back in and find the frame and start from there. There's a way to do that. But this video is going to be too long. And so if you want me to... Oh, I can't really show you that because I got to finish this tonight. Embroidery is finished. Okay to connect the next pattern, and I'm going to say okay when it's done. And then it's going to give me those same warnings. You know, rehoop the fabric to the right. We're going to match up to this mark here. And then it's going to tell me to use the pattern keys to align the start point. And then it's moving me over because it thinks I've already pulled the fabric through, but I actually like doing it this way because I can see where do I have to be? Whereabout do I have to be when I pull the fabric through? So I advanced the screens, and now I should back this up. So I have this extra because I knew I was going to need it for the right side. And I have to get this thing rehooped to be about right there. And I have to squeeze to make sure my embroidery frame is, you know, not that it's lined up there so that we don't sew on top of it and break our needle. I always do that, just a squeeze on each corner. Now, here is the marking, so I hardly have to move it up. But I'm using those same keys, excuse me, and that's where we need to be. So now I'm going to do a position check. It looks like it's straight there. Now, the thing is this, okay, this is the middle. This is the end. Look at how long it is. So this is where I might have to do that. Where is that? Okay. Now it's telling me, which is good. Use the rotate keys and size keys to adjust the angle. So I'm going to say, okay, this is where we do that. So see how this red line is way over here? This is where I'm going to use the keys here. It's too long, so I need to shrink it. So I'm going to use that shrink button in order to get it within the window where I need to be. So let's see what happens. Uh-oh. I'm going to be right on the edge. Well, I think it should be okay. I might even slow it down more so that if I have to, I can. Why does this look like it's, let me just do that check one more time. Okay, that's because, yeah, it's stopping here. I always want to make sure before I start stitching. Okay, I'm gonna go still in the frame. Still in the frame. What I might do is put some tape down here. Let's do that. Just to make sure we don't have anything getting caught. One moment while I get the tape out. Okay. Since this is so close, I'm just going to do that. This is just paper tape. I can rip it off when I'm done. And I don't normally do this, but since it is so close, I'm just going to do that to be sure. Okay, so now if I go over here again, see how close I was? And I can't get it to go in more. It's giving me the knock. So it won't let me go in any farther, which is kind of weird. Unless I measured wrong, but I think I'll be okay because it's on the fabric. It's just at the very edge. And I have the tape down, so I should be okay. Okay, let's see what happens. And then I was going to go slower on this one, since it's the last one. We'll see what 350 looks like. Just so I can hold it down better near the edge. It looks like it connected good. It's right on the money there. So it was just that the pattern was just a little bit too wide. Normally it calculates better, but I really wanted this to be like to the edge because I don't know how much of this fabric I'm going to like need for the bag purse that I'm making. So I'm glad that it's going to the edge. We probably won't use it all, but you never know. So we're at 33 minutes and I have to do this whole thing tonight, so I guess I could show you, if you want to continue watching, I could show you how I will match up the next row. See, it went off of there, and it was fine, but I just didn't want it to get caught in the fabric. So maybe that's what I'll do, is just one more rehooping after this, and it will be making sure that I show you how I connect this row to the next row, so that first row of edge-to-edge stitching in the second, I should say that first frame of edge-to-edge stitching in the second row. that sounds better. And if you like what I'm doing, if it's helpful, leave a comment. See, it was fine over there because I really watched to make sure that when it showed the design on the, you know, it was projecting down on the fabric, I made sure that it wasn't going to be beyond that edge. It's kind of a small purse that we're making, so I doubt that we're going to have to use this whole thing. But yeah, one more row of hooping, then I got to go to town, finish this thing. Now it's doing that end marking, so this will help me to line up the next row. I'm going to punch the speed up after I end the video and just yeah, so I think I was saying, I'm getting in a hurry now, so I think I was saying if you like what I'm doing, give the video a like, subscribe, and make a comment. Let me know if it's helpful. It's nice to see somebody doing the work. So it's asking me again, it's finished, do you want to connect? I'll say okay. And now it's going to tell me to rehoop and the next row probably. Yeah. Now the one row is finished. To start the next row, rehoop the fabric to the left of the edge of the next row while including the thread mark of the upper pattern in the hoop. So I'm going to take this and I'm going to move it down. I think I'm going to try and just put it here for now. I'm just going to do about where I was before. But I'm going to have to move it because I know that I learned that the last time I did this, that if you advance the screen, you actually have a better idea of where you should start. Like, what's the goal? Where should I be in the second row? Because right now it's just a guess until it actually moves. So now it's telling me use the pattern move keys to align the upper left corner of the pattern area with the lower left thread mark. It's just guidance. And so it moves your machine. And I don't think I moved it down enough. So, which makes sense. So this is where I'm supposed to line things up. So I was way off. Okay. I think I'm going to go up a little more. This part is a little bit rusty to me, because this is the second time I've done it. So I'm going to go, I'm trying to line it up to this. This is the thread mark. If you can see that. There's a mark that the embroidery program sewed for me. And I'm trying to line it up, and hopefully I've moved far enough. If I didn't move the hoop and the fabric in the hoop enough, it would give me that little knock knock sound. But I'm right on top of it. So I think we're good on that. I'm just going to make this part a little taut. This is the, again, the water soluble. I'm treating it like a fabric. Because I didn't want to draw lines on this and do quilting. I know you can do it that way. I just want to keep learning as much as I can about this machine and using the features. It looks like it's, oh, it looks like it's there. Okay, I'm a little bit over now because I was messing around with the, okay, so I'm right on top of that, and I think I'm good. Go down the side. It looks like I'm pretty good. So that's as far as we're going to sew. And then it's going to tell me next. Now that I got the first one checked, I'm going to press OK. Now it's going to tell me check the second one, because you might need to, change the angles. So I'm going to say OK. And here's the second one. So it does look like I need to angle it up a little bit. So I'm just using the angle, the 1.1% angle, and I'm getting it to meet that mark. So now I'll just double check, make sure I'm still there. Yes, I'm still good there. Maybe a little bit. I think I'm good. One more check. No, that's good. I'm going to say okay, and then press go. Hopefully I had you in screen enough to see what I was doing there. But now it should know I lined up the top left. Then it told me check the mark on the top right of that frame, which I did. I had to use the angle button to move it up, to angle it up more. And then once I did that, everything should stitch out in line across. And then the process for the next tube would be the same thing that I did across the top row that I just showed you. So I think I will, after this is done stitching, I will end the video. And if you are doing something like this and you need to know how to rehoop the next frame in the row, then just go back to the first part of this video, because we did that. We had 4 rehoopings across the top. The first one is in the upper left. Got to make sure that one's right, because it, you know, things start quilting. The machine starts quilting from the upper left side of the frame. So get that part right, and then when you rehoop, you know, just use the buttons and follow the machine guided assistance to line up the markings and make sure that your angles are good. But it's, I would use this, I will be using this a lot. And it looks like after, I don't think we're gonna have, well, I could be wrong. You know, I think we are. We have 12 hoops, if I remember right. Sorry, when I'm in a rush, this is how I get. And so I have to finish this row. So 3 more rehoopings and then 1 more row of 4. And I think that'll be it. It's almost done. It was only 3 minutes to stitch this out. I've been going at 350 because I wanted to make sure it was good. And we are good, and so I will continue on with this journey after it stops, and I will end the call. Thank you for, not the call, the video. Thank you for joining me. And if you, again, if you like what I'm doing, give the video a like. Share it with a friend if you know somebody who does this. I'm just doing it for fun. And there we go. That's the marking it's going to make for me to help me line up the 3rd row. Give the video a like, make a comment, subscribe. Okay, you have a good day. Thank you very much.